Welcome to the most important episode so far. And I have to make it above the apocalypse episode. It's probably going to take like episode 14 to actually do it. I don't know. But welcome to the demon world. Yeah. The parallel between ninja and being an angel is the same thing as calling everyone a demon and everyone evil for being addicted to certain type of power. Certain type of power. There are only two types of power in general that split one more time. Again, there's this motion of left and motion of the right. These are the motions, yin and yang. This grid symbolizes very well how the demons are kind of operating in a circle. Wind abuses water, water abuses fire. It's a clockwise motion, okay? So these elements, I can also translate them as monster types. And this starting from water, I kind of flipped the M or the W into an M, and it sort of makes sense. It's like matter or mother. It sort of relates to water very well, I think, and that's very revealing in a way of what women are like. They sort of embody demons as pure form as they possibly can. It's very weird. And men try to just kind of get the power. Let's not get into that. I'm just speculating right now really carefully. This dynamic is going to be explored. I specifically want to specify like left and right being male and female dynamic. People want to disagree about a lot of things right now because they love fucking science. They love disgracing the concept of God and afterlife. And what my videos were mostly about is about what science does to our world right now. And it's terrifying because everything is going to change so rapidly and drastically. We're going to fucking figure out what nature is about and nature's laws, and that the world we live in doesn't have any meaning because if we assume that we're just lucky, and luck is the most destructive concept there is. If we're lucky to exist, we are not existing, we are dead. And science is also a demon. Science is embodied by vampires who try to take away every single sip of blood they can get, which means this love of life. That's what blood means. That's when the blood boils, is when you're excited about something. So you have to very carefully understand that that's what they're doing in order sort of to live forever, but it's a little bit different type of concept. But it was very revealing to me when I was interacting with one of those vampires. One of them was my friend, was my close friend, but another encounter was again in the Discord channel, and which I was banned from. And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more, because that's fucking disgusting. But you start to realize there are demons, and you have to put your guards up and be as crazy as it gets, but you gotta fight back. You gotta explore that shit and go through it and figure out how to be more and more effective against these guys, because world is going to shit. We have this population explosion, and this population explosion just allowed every sort of demon gonna explode, but mostly vampires right now. Mostly vampires. We're still going through the cycle of the we went through the cycle, and the vampire is the last kind of entity to survive. And you can sort of see like vampires are the most powerful at the same time. They also, again, operate in the cycle, so Creeper, for example, can actually abuse vampire. The werewolf can actually destroy the Creeper. I'm gonna get into that into more detail later. These concepts are very interesting. For example, the Creeper, right? Like Minecraft actually has all of those concepts. They have wolves, they have bats, they have the zombies and undead, and they have the creepers, which is very interesting. Creepers were invented by pretty much Minecraft at this point. They were somewhat around like slimes, like sort of relatable, but now I think it's one of those super important monster type where it's like top 4 most notorious monster types, demon types, and it's one of those personality types that I relate to the most. The earth personality type, which is the Creeper. This is water, earth, fire, and wind accordingly. And so this is somewhat relating, and I'm wondering, like, I'm creating the Creeper's Forge, the story about creepers. I'm sort of kind of dealing with myself, right? The most important... What the fuck, man? Yeah, whatever that was. So I'm sort of dealing with myself, right? Trying to understand how this personality operates and how can I fix this. It's very important. How can I get power without being addicted to it? There's a certain specific type of power where you just sell your soul. That's mostly what happens. In those situations, you just get addicted to certain type of behavior, which eventually becomes violent behavior because you run out of resources to be sustainable, morally sustainable, but you can still be sustainable, just no longer morally sustainable. If you abuse the world of nature, if you become violent, you can still sustain yourself, and those power dynamics sort of exist because of that, I guess. Another very interesting power dynamic is abused victim type monsters. These are subcategory of monsters, which is the abused ones. I put Boogie in. Is this guy Boogie 2988? Okay. Whew. This guy told a story. I haven't actually looked into the actual story, but from what I know, he was abused. And a lot of people are abused, and they change radically. They radically change because of that. And I think it's very important to put them into the category at this point. I was kind of overlooking that a little bit, and this is a new thing at the moment, but I do see that. Like, this is why I say look into one of those hentai videos. If you're over 18, of course. I mean, this is something I shouldn't promote necessarily, but it just has the right type of personality, and those overly sexual videos, the porn, they normally contain very interesting interactions, to say the least. So, or at least the most kind of easily accessible or easily enjoyable experiences. Is just it's stupid to say for me. It's so uncomfortable. But like, yeah, if you look into that, you're gonna find a personality of a vampire that isn't experienced in sucking blood, which immediately is weird. At the same time, it's a vampire that listens to orders. That makes no sense. This personality is twisted. And it's kind of like a vampire servant. Here's a song that I found. I made even a comment about this. Oh, you guys want to be ninjas now? Kill demons? Because look what it says. Listen close. Definitely not an angel. I added angel after these words, but it's the same thing. It's the same concept of trying to do good, trying to defeat demons instead of embracing one of them. But I am not that evil. See, the moment you're an abused victim, you're sort of still in a victim state, right? You are addicted to something, and the song is gonna go, it's like, I'm addicted. But you become addicted to the power that you sort of learned from another person, and you want to try and figure out if you can use that power yourself, and it sort of works. But you are born in a certain state, right? You're born with a certain element within you, something you're specialized from the very beginning that you enter life. You specialize in some kind of power dynamic. And when you get abused, someone introduces another power dynamic so vividly to you that you yourself become sort of like a semi-abuser. Whether you're abusing yourself or others, it's just there's not much of a difference. It's just some kind of addiction that is on top of your already existing personality, which is super complicated, but that's what kind of makes the person not that evil. Because, like, yes, you're not committed to a power dynamic yet, and you sort of understand what abuse is. So these people are, they understand what's going on a little bit better. And if they can detach themselves, however, they have a very good chance of collapsing into their own personality, right? If they were born as a water or a zombie, right? As a water monster, they might collapse back into that position if they were abused. And again, this is not a joke, right? These are patterns. If you follow patterns, these are the conclusions that I made, and it's crazy. But slowly everything is building up together, and I just don't. I don't see mistakes. I don't see inconsistencies. This is like a semi-vampire, as you can see, but it's really a zombie type person. In its nature, it just was abused, and it was susceptible to the abuse. Most importantly, that's the most important part. You must always suspect that the semi-vampire is going to be. Again, this is not real, right? This is just a metaphor, but it's crazy things. When you look into the patterns, they look exactly the same as what we portray as vampirism. Right. Now, beautiful people, I don't know. Let's say wind and fire are the beautiful ones on the list here. The werewolves and vampires. You know, this stupid ass story. That's the worst love story ever. Because it is the worst love story ever. It's about a person being abused and kind of choosing a certain side. Obviously Bella was. And I'm of course talking about Twilight here. And Bella was a water personality. So if you want to learn about that, you also have these two werewolf and vampires, just super blatant, super obvious, and you have a zombie basically as Bella, right? She was emotional as a fucking zombie at this point. Maybe a creeper, but I don't know. I don't know about that. It's hard to find those guys, like myself. But they're around. Don't you worry about that. There's a reason why creepers became popular so quickly, and there's a reason why I'm. Yeah, maybe not. Another stupid example that came into my head is like Zabuza from Naruto. He looks exactly like a zombie type of person, but he's kind of portraying a shark, but he's related to water at the same time. It's just some kind of imagery to kind of understand how it works. Why do zombies want brains? They want experience. Because that's all they want. Water personalities want experience. They are craving that thing. And they will go do crazy shit. And that's when it gets violent, is when you want other people's experience. When you are not exactly sure how it actually works. How do you abuse other people out of their experience? That's very interesting to think about. I haven't yet encountered that. But I know that's what they want. The creepers want to attach to people, I guess. I don't know. To grow into people's lives. Kind of control people's lives. That's a interesting concept. Absolutely. And it's something that I've been accused for doing, sort of. Especially in the Discord, one of those guys immediately blocked me and immediately said that this guy is trying to take over Discord. It's like, whoa. Are you seeing right through me, or is this some bullshit? Because I know I'm a fucking creeper. In most situations, right? That was pretty interesting. Again, can I improve myself? I am open to that idea. I'm open to destroying my personality if I can improve it instead of destroying it. That's the whole dynamic most of the time. You cannot replace addiction until you see the improvement that you can take, instead of just completely ripping it off the powers that you have and trying to rebuild them carefully. It's a lot harder that way. I don't see it even possible. Because you're always addicted to just growth in general. It's just better that way. You're likely to take that direction of growth instead of ripping yourself off and trying to reset constantly. If you lean towards the center direction, it's really difficult. I cannot come up with the example right now, but that's the thought process. Now the werewolf is just violent. He just wants to be better than you, right? Beat you up and feel better than you. Feel the best. That's all I can think of, really. Rip you into shreds if necessary. Not necessarily turn you into a werewolf. That's one of those interesting things, the zombie type. It also turns you into a zombie, just like vampire does. The vampires and zombies turn you into one of them. Except zombies don't give a fuck, while vampires turn you into a servant. Maybe zombies turn you into like a connected mob of one entity. You serve a zombie in a way by giving experience. But that's just weird. So again, you can see at least the speculations that goes behind this stuff. If you can keep up. There's not much more I can talk about. But I've introduced like PewDiePie being one of the vampire type people. One of those people who are perpetuating science at the same time. Perpetuating authority. Very interesting. And I'm Logan Paul and Jake Paul. I think these are werewolves. And you gotta really look into the patterns to figure out how that works. I can't really explain it just yet, but what is one pattern? Like, I also think Anthony Padilla. I'm not sure what other one. Oh. And Shane Dawson. Sorry, Shane. These guys are also werewolves. They're sort of not on the spotlight right now, but I think they work exactly the same way as Jake and Logan Paul does. They have similar patterns. of kind of mimicking other people and putting other people into the spotlight to kind of steal that. It's just something weird. At least the Anthony Padilla's humor is sort of revealing, because he's laughing at the trends. He did the flat earth stuff as well, but he did it in a very interesting way by giving flat earthers sort of the floor, but he just changed a few things so flat earthers don't look smart anymore. They're not given full potential to explain what they believe in, so Anthony can just laugh at that shit, right? He's not in a position where he's willingly convinced. He doesn't give a fuck. He just want to make a comedy show out of that. So that's sort of the behavior that I see, but I don't say it's totally useless, especially Shane Dawson. I don't want to put him in the demon position, but I do want to put him in a position where he can actually improve. That's important, right? And in a position where he is suffering from something specifically. Again, this is just a few observations of the things in my life that I observe in the internet. You give your own theories. I'm signing off, and I hope you sign up to become a ninja. See you guys next time. Oh god. Welcome to the demo. Oh man, this is so awesome to explore. But at the same time, you must always remind yourselves it's actually fucking real. There's actual evil in the world. You have to fucking understand. Figure it all out. And also kick my ass, because I want to be a ninja. Try to roast me, of all people. Then we're gonna have some fun. But most people don't even know how to roast, because they don't want to open themselves up to the vulnerability of being offended and destroyed, morally destroyed. But that's like the best thing you can actually receive is the correct direction in life, I suppose. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's go hunt some demons.